Hello and good evening, and welcome to a new video from me. Sorry it's been a little while, but as you're about to see, I've been really busy, and I've got 99 Slayer eventually, which was just a great weight off my shoulders. I'll admit, in the last mill and a half of Slayer, it was starting to really kick on and kind of, yeah, get me down a little bit, I guess you'd say. I mean, it's only a computer game, sure, but it was a bit of a grind. But yeah, I'm just really glad to have got it and to yeah get another one ticked off the box. Just a few little shout outs to a few people that I want to mention that were here for me getting 99 Slayer and have been been a real support to me over the last few months, whatever. Firstly, Lee Wales, good friend of mine. Thank you for putting up with my continual irritating questions. You have been a great source of knowledge. And another friend of mine, Tom Neist, again, thanks for all the hours of Skype chats and just keeping me going on horrible tasks. And some of my newer friends, again, who are in Skype call with me here. So Mike, Ryan, Daniel, Aaron that was there, Kirsten, even Kai. Yes, you're going to mention Kai. And I don't think I've missed anyone else. Oh, Taz, yeah, Taz, you were there as well. Thank you, guys. You've been, yeah, it's been really good to speak to you when I've been getting this, and thanks for all the support. And Kay. Um, so what I'm going to do now is move on to the Slayer tab and show you guys kind of what I got from that. A little bit depressing in some items, obviously, but some others, yeah, it's been nice. And yeah, we'll move on to the Slayer tab, and I'll be back with you shortly. And here we are onto the Slayer tab. And for anyone that's wise or keen-eyed or just generally clever, yes, I did actually record this just a little bit before I got 99 Slayer. I basically was doing some work in the morning and I left with myself with about 900 XP. And then I got the rest in the evening, but I sold the tab just before I got it. So yeah, not too much of a cheat. I obviously got rid of all my coins beforehand. I'm just kind of going through all my dragon hides and prayer stuff at the beginning. Um, yeah, there was quite a bit of money in obviously black dragon hides and blue dragon hides, which is obviously good. I think that gets me up to a couple of mil first off for my first sell. A few ashes that I didn't sort of sell. There's only one or so of those, and then into the rune items. This made me quite a lot of money. You obviously get a lot of rune helms, rune full helms, and rune plate bodies, as you can see. That jumps straight up to 6 mil odd. Rune boots, I don't know why they just wouldn't sell. Yeah, I'm just sort of going through all the rune items that I got. Items, monsters like abyssal demons, black demons, um, dark beasts. They drop a lot of rune stuff, and if you can be bothered to pick it all up, it's amazing how much money actually it does make you. And even things like rune spears here and stuff that you know made quite a lot of money really for an item that you kind of think when you're killing metal dragons and stuff and you just think, oh, it's bullshit, I'll leave it on the floor. It does make you a lot. It's the same with things like rune square shields. I was getting a lot from Ganodermic beasts. It all adds up. I have to say there are certain items that I did alch whilst on certain tasks. So for instance, when I went to Ganos on task rather than just for camping, I did take alch runes and I alched things like Ganodermic boots, gloves, any rare drop table single items that I got. Um, so there's not everything in here that I got from Slayer, and I'm sure there are probably a few items that I got from just killing Ganos that ended up in here, like dragon spears and whatnot. Yeah, so here I finally managed to sell my rune boots for absolutely nothing. I don't know why I had some adamant plate legs, but oh well. I did bother picking up the adamant two hand swords from Iron and Steel Dragons, and actually it ended up being a few hundred K. Again, not a lot, but when you've got space in your inventory and you can be bothered to pick it up, why not? Just going through the sort of dragon plate legs and plate skirts here, and dragon daggers that I got. A lot of those just from rare drop tables. Again, it sort of all adds up. Those rune knives are a complete waste of time. Don't pick them up. They really are rubbish. Dragon helms I'm going through now, and then into some of the items that you really don't want to see, like dark bows are sort of 80k, whips 70k, vine whips sort of 85k or something. It probably didn't even sell. which is pretty horrible. Then into some of the griffolic items I got from doing things like Griffalopines, Griffalurus. They are worth surprisingly quite a lot of money. If you again, if you can be bothered to pick up, Griffolic flakes, orbs, wands, stuff like that, it really does make you quite a lot of money. And as again, if you're watching the screen rather than my voice, you'll kind of see some of the items whizzing past here at speed. But I think the more time that you can be bothered to pick stuff up, I'll just say Staff of Lights, that was quite a nice money spinner. I think I got four of those in the end. They're about 300k, I think. I can't quite see, but obviously from Ice Strike Worms. Again, Ice Strike Worms, another really, really good task for money. If you can be bothered to pick up rune bars, noted herbs, seeds, blood and death runes, although mage has just been nerfed, so runes will be crashing like mad. Sorry, my phone. Yeah, and ores and stuff like that. You can make yourself, if you get a Staff of Light drop in one task at Ice Strike Workings, you can make yourself a mill. If you're power slaying and you can't be asked to pick anything up, then really the best drops, then sure, make as much money. But if you can be bothered, you'll always make more. And I think a lot of friends kind of who are in, you saw at the beginning of the video, all guessed what my Slayer tab was going to be worth, and maybe have a little guess yourself here, I suppose you can see, but they sort of guessed 25, 27, 26 mil. I think Ryan won, I think. If I got that wrong, I'm really sorry. But yeah, I think he guessed 27 mil, and obviously it was quite a bit more than that. But yeah, herbs in the background you can see going now. Again, if you can be bothered to pick up noted herbs, always worth it. I don't think I ended up selling my Torstals just because I'm keeping them for herb lore and stuff. So there probably would have been, maybe even another mill or so on top of that. But I picked up grimy Avantos, Cadentines, Dwarfweeds, even Ranars actually. It all kind of adds up. I had a few Harrowlanders and Irits just knocking around. Don't really know where they were in there, but well, it's all there. I sold them. I thought some of the talismans that you can see in the background would be worth a bit more than they actually were in the end, which, well, it's not a shame, I suppose. It's EOC, and you never can tell what the items are going to be worth. But yeah, just going through the tab, I sort of, at this stage, I was thinking, oh, well, maybe the tab might be worth about, 27, something like that, mil, 25 mil. I'd hit 17 mil, and I thought, well, I've got rid of a lot of the armor and stuff like that, but there were some pretty sizable items to come still. So just going through the seeds here, as you can see, some crappy items. I picked up a lot of potato cactuses. All those logs that you see, interestingly enough, the mage logs, some of them came from ice strike worms, but a lot of them actually came from mutated Judinkos. Again, if you don't mind melee tasks, and indeed if you similarly don't mind doing a bit of well, not AFK, but non-ability momentum, Jidinkos are actually a really good toss for money, 200 odd Jidinkos, if you use abilities, you can get it done in like 20 minutes or something. If you use momentum, it's a little bit longer, but if you pick up all the logs that they drop and the seeds and herbs, it's about 300 or 400k a task, again, which, for a pretty crappy Slayer task, it's quite a bit of money. And, again, I keep saying this, it just goes back to whether you can be bothered to pick stuff up. And there are some of the stuff in here that I could be bothered to pick up, and it made a difference. Like you'll see crushed bird's nest there. That was about 200 and something odd K just from picking those up from ice strike worms. Another good task that I actually started doing again towards the end, that I stopped doing in the middle of this tab, was desert strike worms, and they similarly drop quite a lot of relatively priced items, stuff like noted herbs, pure essence, the odd bit of iron, sorry, not iron, adamant ore and stuff like that. They're worth picking up. And yeah, just going through all the ores now, I got a lot of the rune ore from ice strike worms again. You get them from a rare drop table, I believe. That might be rune bars more, can't really remember. Iron ores, had quite a few of those from using my crystal keys at the chest. If you remember from a previous video, I got quite a bit of iron ore and stuff, so all those keys came from Slayer, so I just put it in my Slayer tab. Just going through a bit of random food here that I don't really know what I had. I think the raw fish were from probably, yeah, the swordfish would be rare drop table or something. Yeah, can't really see what I'm moving into now. Oh yeah, just sort of, and this is some of the items that made quite a lot of difference here. If you see those grapholic flakes, I think from memory were worth quite a lot of money. One thing I haven't said that I should say, this tab is from 95 to 99 Slayer, um, so it's not 90 to 99 or anything like that. But yeah, got through that flax, wasn't really worth a lot. But you can see, you'll see in a second, I think these grapholic flakes were, yeah, worth a mil. You know, I don't know how many tasks I did down on the Grifflepines and Griffalurus, but, you know, that's a mil. It's not to be sniffed at, and all it does is just involves picking stuff up. Yeah, I go through selling all the bolts here. I don't know why I was trying to sell those coral bolts when they're not for sale. This was a bit frustrating. I remember doing the tab because some of these items just wouldn't sell, and it's just irritating. I've got some onyx bolts there in the tab. Can't remember where I got those from. Actually, I have no idea where I got those from. I can't really think of anything that drops them immediately, but that might even have been from when I was at... I did do a kill. I did a few kills at Bandos. You'll see later on some items and stuff, so I think that might have been from there, to be honest. And then finally into these gems. A lot of those came from, again, from things like water fiends drop a lot of noted uncut sapphires. The rest of them came from crystal keys and the odd sort of noted drop. I actually cut all the dragon stones myself just for some crafting XP, so I got most of those raw, you know, uncut, should I say, and cut them all myself. I sold the remaining key pieces that I had because, you know, I couldn't make them into full keys, just because I wanted to clear the whole tab really, but that made me quite a lot of money because keys are actually, you know, key pieces are really expensive at the moment. I sold a God Sword shard there at the end as well. And I think, do I sell those? Yeah, I do sell the mud runes. Maybe I don't, can't remember. I do. And then I'm just trying to get rid of these onyx bolts. I can't remember what they sell for in the end. Well under G by the looks of it. Yeah, so that's the final item by the looks of it. And as you can see from the cash stack, it's 36.5 mil, exactly 36.5 mil, and that's my Slayer tab. So we'll move on. And here we are, guys, back at Player Imports, where I've obviously spent quite a lot of time since I've been finishing off Slayer and getting that whatever it was, 95 to 99, however many mils that is. Yeah, as I said earlier in the video, it's been a long road, but I guess, you know, certain skills in RuneScape are there to be ground out. I've really enjoyed getting 99 Slayer in many ways. It's been tough, I'm not going to lie, and at times I've really found it quite hard, but that's where I guess, you know, a few people that I've mentioned in this video, you know, I owe a debt of thanks for getting me over the line. It's really nice to kind of know that if I never want to again, I don't have to do Slayer. I'm sure I will come back and slay in the future. Um, it probably won't be for a good while because, to be honest, you know, I want to carry on with maxing and finish off certainly the rest of the combat levels that I need. I'm not going to talk about that now. I'll do that in the next video, and we'll sort of have a bit of a account update and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I just want to say thank you again to, you know, anybody that's obviously watching this or has helped me along the line, or, you know, has been there for whatever reason. Thank you, and I suppose all that's left to say is thank you and goodbye.